Why are people's fats way too low? And why do people think they're eating enough fat when they're clearly not on a carnivore diet and even a keto diet to get into ketosis? Let's get into it. Welcome everyone to my unusual channel where I like to push the boundaries in trying to find new things to consider when doing anything that's a low carb diet. Today I want to talk about the gallbladder. Now I'm just going to do a part 1 and part 2 because it's getting too late. With all the stuff that's going down on my Thunder Cloud Ranch, y'all, I'm going to put a video together so you guys can actually see because it's a lot. With that said, most of you are having gallbladder distress. Now, there's a big portion of people that actually, okay, this dog is not coming up here today. There's a big portion of people who actually don't know that they're having gallbladder distress while doing carnivore. And a lot of people think that eating a ribeye is giving you enough fat, but it's not. Not your fatty ground beef and not your ribeye. It's not, because in that gristly fat is a lot of protein fibers. So you're not going to get into ketosis. To get to that fat, you would have to eat such large quantities of beef, like ground beef or the fatty cuts of meat, that now you have gone way over your protein allotment to even get into ketosis. I'm going to say this again. You cannot get good, adequate energy from protein. You can't. You must get your energy either from carbs, which I don't want to do that, or fat. Not fat protein fibers in the gristly parts of the meat, rendered fat like butter, tallow, lard, you name it. Yeah, leaf lard, thymus fat, lamb fat, butter, not the coconut oil, not the MCT oil. None of these plant fats are going to get you into ketosis. Now, an MCT, which is a medium chain triglyceride, might trick your brain into thinking that you're not starving, but over the years, like someone just asked, what's your credibility? Working with over 10,000 people with glucometers supersedes anybody who's got a title. Okay? Because we've seen the doctors have problems doing a carnivore diet or not understand what's going on with their blood sugar. In fact, most of them don't. The blood sugar issues, the chronic dehydration, the low blood pressure, most of them are not even aware of that, no matter how much credibility they have on a piece of paper. With that said, I'm going to go more deep into the subjects of the gallbladder, the symptoms to look for, because if you're, stop worrying about the liver. If I get more am I going to get liver damage from fat? No, you just won't be able to make ketones very well if your liver enzymes are too high. So you got to work on that liver. But when it comes to the gallbladder, you also cannot get into ketosis if your gallbladder is tight, sludgy, or filled with stones. You can't. And then if you have a liver and gallbladder problem and then a pancreatic issue with lipase, it's stacking, which is why a lot of you might do well in the beginning. You might bring down your inflammatory markers on a low carb or ketogenic or ketosis driven or ketotic driven or carnivore diet, and then you start having problems because you're not making enough ketones to sustain energy, which puts your adrenals and your thyroid in hyperdrive. And I've seen it over and over and over. And that's the education you get with working with over 10,000 people who are using glucometers. Comment below, are you having any issues with fat? Because if you guys think that eating a tablespoon of fat in the cooking process or on your plate is enough fat, you are sorely mistaken. The fat has to get really high because your body is not used to making ketones. And first you make ketones out of the dietary fat, and then you start accessing the body fat. And that's the hard line or bridge to cross over, and people don't make it, so they fall off and they go back to the carbs. How many people say, oh, I did keto years ago but it didn't work? There are reasons why it didn't work, and one big reason is the gallbladder. So I'm going to go into the deep dive in part 2 and talk about what you can do to fix that gallbladder, or can you do these diets without a gallbladder. Let's get into it. Next video. To learn more, go to stephanieperson.com. If you feel that you need help, you can book a consultation through my website. I also run a course where I go over all this stuff ad nauseum: electrolytes, ketones, histamine, dehydration, liver enzymes, gallbladder, all of it. stephanieperson.com if you want to sign up for that monthly subscription. It's only $15 a month. And then my Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic. My Facebook fan page is Stephanie the Business Person. I've been doing a ketogenic diet for 17 years, and it's taken the full 1-7 to get it right. And I'm still learning. So comment below, share this content. That's how people find me. There's so much going on in my life. Lord have mercy, child, if y'all knew. But life is amazing. I feel incredibly grateful. And I'm out. Peace. Energy. 57 and counting.